Bring it on.
Great. Well, welcome on to show 58 of Linking into Sales with Greg Hire and I. We're real excited about our guest today, right, Greg?
Absolutely. We've been looking forward to this, guys. I think we connected back in like September, maybe even sooner, maybe even August, and just so it's taken a lot of planning, a few emails, and a little bit of pixie dust, and we got this show ready to happen. So,
Right. John, welcome to the show.
Martin and Greg, I'm excited to be here with you guys today to talk about something near and dear to my heart, relationships, and how it affects the way we build our brand and our network and its effect on our ability to build a business. So I'm excited to be here with you and your community.
Yeah, it's great. Well, we want to just start with a brief, if you'd share a little bit about your great background and experience that you did on our private hangout. So if anyone doesn't immediately know who you are, they realize it, because with, everyone knows GoldMine. So that's my quick way. Ever heard of GoldMine?
Well,
take a minute to do that.
I think that I've been in the relationship management business all my life. I learned from my pops. I grew up on his car dealership. I learned from my uncle, who helped invent microwave and radar at MIT and was an aerospace entrepreneur. But ultimately, I fell into the relationship business because I struggled as a business person to manage leads and engagement as a sales rep for a technology company. And it was during those days when we managed relationships with leather-based daytimers, pink while you're out shifts, and spreadsheets, before networks were even a thing that businesses used. I saw the future. I saw how networks and notebooks were going to change the way not just salespeople engage, because it's not just salespeople that touch a customer, but the way the whole company engages with the customer. And so at 29 years old, I was too young and dumb to know any better. I quit my job. And I got together with a college buddy of mine, and we started a company called GoldMine. And little did we know, it actually turned out to be a gold mine, because what we did, without knowing it, was we basically predated Outlook. We were the Outlook of our generation. We predated SFA and CRM and automated marketing, because what many people don't know is that GoldMine was a blend of relationship management and sales and market automation. The funny thing is, the more we change, the more we are the same, because today most marketing platforms are adding CRM and most CRM systems are adding marketing, and what they all need to add is social, because business is social, life is social, people buy from people they like and they like people who know them, and it's our job to know a person or a company before we meet with them so we can serve them. And that's what we're here to talk about, is how do you do that in today's world?
Absolutely, and a little piece on that is I was a user of ACT. I didn't get to use GoldMine, forgive me for that. And then I went from ACT to thinking, well, my clients are on Salesforce, I should be on it. I went on it and I went, this is too much. I'm a one-man show connecting with an assistant, and it's too much. I need something simple I can use easy.
Yeah.
And that's when, between Greg and a gentleman, Pat Howlett, you might have heard, he introduced me to it. He mentioned it, and I went, this I can understand. This is, and I'm going to just tell you, hold that price at $15, and I can refer you all day long, because everyone can justify it. But that introduced something called the Social CRM, and I'd love if you wouldn't mind just defining your definition of what that is for people, because that differentiates. You had the Rolodex, and you had the PC-based content management system, then you had the cloud-based CRM, and now we have the social CRM. Would you mind just kind of giving your definition of that?
You bet, Martin. And I think that social CRM was a term that we tried to use to define social's application to the business process. And just in the same way as we use the internet and I this and E that for everything that was happening about the internet, do you remember when we started with the internet, it was eWorld or iNet or iApp or whatever? Now everything, the internet's just the highway. We don't even notice it's there.
Sure.
I believe that social is becoming the same thing. So today we talk about social CRM and social selling, in the future, we're just going to talk about business, and these are just the fabrics of the way we do business. That being said, what differentiates the new product that we've built, Nimble, from the traditional CRMs is that we're focused on empowering the customer-facing business person to be effective at building, nurturing relationships. I believe that CRMs have forgotten the R word, relationships, and I'll tell you why. Most people don't know this, but CRMs were created after Outlook. And so the relationship piece of the CRM was someplace else, and that's contact, calendar, and communications. That's the heart of your relationships. There's 225 million global businesses, less than 3% use a CRM. Why? They don't really do anything for you. They're reporting tools for management. Your CRM, Martin and Greg, is your inbox, and now more and more social conversations. And so the heart of your relationships is contacts, calendar, and communication. And today, if you're like most people who use Google, those are three separate islands. So your contacts, your emails, and your calendar aren't linked together. Without those linked together, you have no idea of the context of the people you're doing business with. That's what GoldMine started out with 30, 25 years ago, linking contact, calendar, and communication, and then the automated marketing and sales. So Nimble is just an evolution of that. The heart of it is contact, calendar, and communication, and your contacts aren't just in Google. They're not in Outlook. They're in Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Instagram, Foursquare, Google+, Crunchbase, AngelList, Pinterest, all of these places, and you have to manage not just the contacts but the conversations across all those places. And to be effective today, you need to be a trusted advisor to your community, and you do that by inspiring and educating them. And if you do what we tell you to do, to build your brand and grow your network by inspiring and educating, you're going to generate more signals, more contacts than you could manage. How's your inbox these days, you guys? Mine's exploding, as is my signals. So how do you manage all these contacts and conversations in an over-connected, over-communicated world? I'm telling you, you can't do it in 6 different tabs in your browsers and 3 different apps on your desktops. That's why we built Nimble, for the machine to automatically build records, record conversations, and update data on people, so you could do the human thing of listening to your customer and delivering services, because I believe sales is serving other humans and helping them grow.
I strongly agree with you, Jon. I think we've we're this year we're pretty much taking the show, and we want to bring on folks with that kind of perspective. I mean, we're stressing that sales is more of a, or social selling, today in 2015 is more about opening and building relationships, as opposed to your traditional sales, which is more of, I got to hurry up and close, I got to close something, I got to close an appointment, I got to close the deal, I got to get a go no go date, I got to do something, I got to it's all heavily activity based. But I think what you've done in particular with social is, or with Social CRM, is just with bringing everything into that one place where you can go and access all of that to understand, am I building the relationship correctly? And having that insight and all that in one place, I think you've done a very fine job with that.
Well, I love to tell stories, Greg and Martin, and I believe that everybody talks about how social has changed everything. I think what social is doing is bringing us back to a small town. I think that social is increasing the transparency and expectations of customers to companies, employers to employees to employers, and making it so that we're more like a small town. Because the whole bag 'em, tag 'em, slick willy mentality of sales really came about because of mass manufacturing in the industrial age, where we built too much stuff that we couldn't sell it. You step back 100 years ago in a small town, everybody knew everybody. Your reputation was built on what you said and the experiences that you delivered to your customers. And so when I was a kid and I went into the market, they not only knew my name, but they knew what I liked, and they had that Hostess cherry pie and the Dr. Pepper on the counter by the time I got up to the front of it after school. And today, I believe that we have the ability now to connect with our customers in a much more human way, and that this whole bag 'em, tag 'em sales thing that has made salespeople have a reputation that's worse than lawyers is actually going to pass away, and we're going to forget about selling and remember that it's really about helping other people grow. Sales is a service.
Now, I want to add something to it. John, when I moved from IBM into my own business, I was in the support field in IBM, and I'd make a horrible joke that I had, and I want to say it because I really had to outgrow it. I said, they want me to get in sales, and I said, well, I don't play golf and I don't like lying. And then I realized that if I'm getting into coaching and consulting, I had to really grow up inside and redefine it. So I realized I had lived out of a paradigm of what you're talking about, and then I had to build in myself, it's truly a win-win relationship or it's a no long-term relationship.
Well, I love that. And it reminds me of another story that I tell about the old world business, which unfortunately is the way many businesses still run today, like a castle with a wall around it. And so in most companies, there's a wall around the company, and there's walls between sales, marketing, customer service, product, and management. And at the top of the castle is the marketing people who throw hot oil down over the castle to slow the customer down so the sales reps can shoot him in the back of the head as fast as they can. And God forbid any sales reps gets in front of that archer, because he's going to kill that sales rep just to get the customer. And as soon as they kill the customer, what they do is they shuffle that customer off to the crack in the wall down the bottom where the customer service people are, because in reality, in so many companies, unfortunately, customer service are the peons of the company, and nobody talks to each other. Sales basically say that marketing gives them bad leads. Marketing says salespeople don't follow up, and management's not even involved. And so I believe that social's ripping down the walls of the company, ripping down walls between departments. Customers are having their own conversations and making their buying decisions without looking at your marketing material, without talking to your sales rep. And I believe that the future business is built on the experience the pharmacists deliver and the experience we deliver to that new social buyer. And the only way you can do that is empowering all the customer-facing business people to become trusted advisors to the customers, and by sharing content and engaging in an authentic, relevant way throughout the entire customer journey, because it doesn't start or stop at a sale.
I wholeheartedly agree. As a matter of fact, we have a concept that we're continuing to develop, in the hourglass concept, where basically the sale happens right at the middle of the hourglass, but then you have to expand the customer relationship and build basically upon retaining the customer throughout the remaining the life of the customer, as long as they're doing business with the company. So that was a great example, actually. One of the things I wanted to ask you is that how Google Plus in particular, before it was launched, they did a tremendous amount of research around basically the sociology of human connections and how most humans can they can maintain about 100 to 150 intimate connections, and then after that it's impossible. And what Google
the Dunbar limit.
So, and then what Google does is they help us by creating circles and putting people into circles, so that way we can actually move in and out of these circles, and using technology basically to help us manage these relationships. Do you think that with the walls being broken down and the potential for a flood of new relationships with social, do you think that CRM as it is today is helping the salesperson with managing that correctly, so that way they can take and build those intimate relationships?
No. I think you take any traditional legacy CRM, and it's a database that you have to go Google who somebody is, and then log what you know, and then go and engage in whatever channel is most effective for that customer and log what you did. How many sales reps do you know that are good at data entry? All right.
Yeah, good question.
And even if you could beat a salesperson to type in who that person is, what their company is about, and what they did, by the time you type in anything on anybody or any company, it decays like fish over time, and it's dead information. And the biggest problem with databases is bad information. Yeah. And so I truly believe that there is a limit to the amount of people that a human mind can remember and nurture, and it's called the Dunbar limit. So if you Google Dunbar limit, It's a they studied the human cortex, and there is a number of about 100 to 150 that the average person can maintain. But did you know that the average number of a Nimble database for one of our customers is between 3,000 and 5,000, and that most people have many people have even more? I'll bet, Greg, in your database today, if you combine your Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Google contacts, that you have over 10,000 contacts in there. And how many of them can you actually maintain a conversation top of mind with? So Mae West, who was an entrepreneur that I truly admire, said, out of sight is out of mind is out of money, honey. So if you are not top of mind with your prospects or your customers, and it's not just prospects and customers that you need to stay top of mind with, because they're not the only people that are going to affect people making buying decisions in favor of your products and services. I call it a sustainable garden that you need to maintain around your business of a constituency. For me, it's editors, analysts, bloggers, editors, third-party developers, investors, advisors, and prospects and customers of various sizes. And the way that I stay top of mind with them is I pay the relationship forward by adding value to the conversation and sharing content that does what I call as the 5 E's of social business. Educate, enchant, engage, embrace, and empower your customer. And to do that, you can't do that in a manual way, because if you're sharing content, you're going to create engagement on all these channels. I probably have over 100 +1 likes, comments, retweets, or otherwise engagements per day on my networks. How do you then decide which one you should follow up with and stay top of mind with? How do you even do that? You need a computer to maintain the contacts, track the signals, and then mine the important signals so that you can do the human thing. Because I believe the more digital we get, the more human we need to be.
So I want to add something. As someone who's using Nimble, you know, some of the things I like, and I met with another friend, Whitney Hill, that's gotten on board with it, and it's I can have Chrome open, and if I lose track of someone, I can hover over it. They'll pop up, and I'll know, do I have a relationship with them or not? And then also that ability to go in and either set a specific reminder to move forward when I should touch them again, or a regular cyclical system that's done so easy, so it's integrating with the surfing as well as the database. And I think I kind of view it, John, like you created a shell system that if you, I just use Chrome right now, but if you use Chrome, it allows you to go back and forth with this. And and that's to me finally what I'm looking for, you know, in an affordable package.
Let me try to rephrase what you're saying there, Martin, because I think that unless you're actually using Nimble, you may not understand exactly what you're talking about. So today, I believe we live in 6 different tabs in our browsers and 3 different apps on our desktops, plus our mobile devices. So if you have contacts in all those places and you're having conversations in all those places, it's hard to have context about the contacts. And you don't want to go back to a CRM or a contact tool in order to look somebody up or log what you should do. And so I came to this revelation that the future of engagement is not going to a CRM or to a contact tool, but to bring it with you everywhere you work, because no matter what we do at Nimble, how much functionality we put into the platform, and we have quite a bit where you can do a lot of engagement, you're still going to go and play in Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Instagram, Foursquare, Google+, and Gmail, and even a CRM or Hootsuite or whatever. So what we did was we took the essence of Nimble, the contacts and the intelligence and the signals, and we put it into the browser, not just Chrome, but in Firefox and Safari, so that you can then, instead of Googling somebody, you can Nimble them, and you can Nimble anything, anywhere, and Nimble will automatically build a record if they don't exist. If they do exist, we'll bring up the record so you can see who that person is, what last conversations that you or the team had, what activities that you've done, what that person's saying to the world, walk in the digital footprint, add value to their conversation, and then schedule the follow-up and follow-through, because I believe that John Wooden said it best. He was a coach of the UCLA championship team for so many years, It's the basics that wins games, and that's where most people follow. They fall through, and so it's the follow up and follow through that gets you the opportunities. And most people forget to schedule something that they need to do. But in many cases, there is no schedule thing. How many times have somebody told you, I'm not ready today, call me back in 30 days? We've all heard that, right?
Mm-hmm.
The thing is if you schedule a reminder to call them in 30 days, you're going to call them up in 30 days, and you know what they're going to say if they pick the phone up? I haven't got to it yet, right? Mm-hmm. And so instead of calling them in 30 days, you should be staying top of mind with them between now and then by adding value to the conversation, sharing content that inspires them so they see you as a trusted advisor. So when they are ready to make a buying decision, not only do they pick up the phone and call you, but they bring their friends with them.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, John, did I just see a phone with a cord attached there?
So this is the phone system that was at GoldMine back in the day. So I love to tell the story of GoldMine. We started that company on $5,000, no bank loan, no venture capital. After 10 years of instant success, we had basically we're serving over 2 million companies worldwide and doing $70-something million in revenue. And so this phone system actually went to me to my house because it's good luck. And so this is how I cold called 500 Novell resellers around the world and got them to use GoldMine, because people sell what they know and they know what they use, and they were the trusted advisor to my target audience, my target customer, and I couldn't afford to advertise to those people. So the way that we bootstrapped that company with no investment ever is by identifying the influence of our core constituency in and around the areas of promise of our product, built a pay-it-forward relationship so that they would then recommend our products to their customers, and that's how we grew the company. Isn't that the exact same way that people are doing business today?
Right.
Is identifying influencers, building relationships in a pay-it-forward way, and using that to scale their business. So we're basically doing this sort of influencer networking before it was fashionable.
Great story. Great story. Greg, over to you.
Yeah. So I mean, who do you think? I mean, obviously, salespeople should be using, Social CRM. I think we've heard you say maybe in the past that this is something that they can take with them. That maybe this is a tool that a salesperson should actually pay for out of their own pocket, like how they had their Rolodex in the past. But then you hear, like, there was a couple weeks ago, the state of California, I think there was a court or something like that that had ruled that LinkedIn connections can sometimes be considered trade secrets. I'm not sure if you saw that case or not, but if a salesperson is taken to actually building relationships with the customers of a particular company, what happens when they go on to another company and maybe that salesperson goes and works for another competitor? How do we answer that?
These are all great questions, Greg, and I think it's something that is evolving in case law as far as who owns the customer. But the bottom line is that your professional net worth is equal to the sum of your personal brand plus your professional network. And if you're not nurturing your brand and building your network on a daily basis, you're done in the future. And it's not just salespeople. Every single business professional today needs to be concerned about their network and their net worth. And you should be using a tool to manage that. And let's not call it social CRM, just like I don't think we should call it social selling, because ultimately it's not just salespeople that touch the customer, it's everybody in the company that touches the customer. And so if you're going to adopt a relationship platform for your company, give it to everybody in the company, because everybody in the company is part of that customer journey. And that's what made GoldMine great, is we work for salespeople, we work for everybody in the company, so that no matter who picks up the phone, you know who you're talking to, what's pending, who's going to do it, what's been done, who's done it in all communication. That's the kind of service you get from American Express. That's what your customers expect from you. So that's the whole idea of a relationship platform for the whole company. That being said, you know what? Companies have existing infrastructure systems within their companies, like Salesforce, right? So You might have a Salesforce system hooked up to our Marketo system that's hooked up to your website, and you're gathering leads and putting them on the marketing system, and then you lead nurture them and you give them to your sales rep and you say, go get them. Tell me, Greg and Martin, what does Salesforce do for you to help you prepare for that relationship? Nothing. You have to go Google the guy and do all that work. And the fact of the matter is that every sales rep has a golden Rolodex and they don't put it in the company CRM. So imagine if the company empowered you to bring your network to work with you, because that's why they hired you. They hired you for your Rolodex and your brand. Nimble actually works within the CRM, within HubSpot, within Marketo, by automatically building records off of whatever data is on the Salesforce record or on the marketing record, and then adding value to that, giving you a complete picture of who that person is, and even enabling you to update the records underneath. And so I am seeing today that sales reps and business professionals throughout small, medium, large, and enterprise companies are adopting Nimble, bringing it to work with them, using it to build and achieve their business goals on the company's behalf. And then it's becoming a Trojan horse where it's then being adopted within certain departments within those organizations. And it kind of reminds me of the GoldMine days in that we actually targeted work groups, not small business, work groups that occur in small, medium, large, and enterprise companies. And these work groups become these islands that start hooking to each other, and eventually you're the corporate standard. GoldMine was the corporate standard at 50 of the Fortune 500 companies. Today, the small business segment of our business is less than a third. The other 20% is medium-sized. The other half is large and extra large enterprise companies. And it's mainly executives who are buying Nimble because they understand the power of their network and the effect on their net worth. And so I believe, Greg, exactly what you're saying is that every business professional should be maintaining their network and nurturing their brand and using that on the company behalf, whether they use Nimble as their CRM or in conjunction with their CRM.
So, two things on that. You have a term, what did you call it? Magic. It had the word magic in it. Automagically. And that's, to me, the thing. I want you to define that. You've name dropped it too much in this.
Sure.
Define it, because I'll tell you what it means to me is something's over there bringing in more data into my Nimble that adds to my data. Is that what you're pointing towards?
Yes. I mean, the thing is that 60% of your sales time is doing non-sales thing, like looking people up and logging who they are and logging what you did. Yeah. You shouldn't do that. Nimble automatically synchronizes your contacts, your calendar, and your conversations from email and social and the contacts, brings it together, and then mines that information for opportunities for engagement. And so we'll automatically layer additional data on top of any record, and then, like Pandora, serve up signals and people from your email, from your calendar, and from your social that match the DNA of people that you're typically successful with. And so the other day I got followed by the general manager of IBM's mid-market and SMB group. I would have never seen that. This guy following me on Twitter. I don't have time to look at all these different signals and social identities. Nimble does that for me. Nimble saw that he matches the DNA of somebody that matters and said, hey, John, here's a signal that matters. And so I took that signal, fished that contact out of the river. Nimble automatically built a complete picture of him. And rather than me cold calling him by sending him a LinkedIn invite, what I did is I walked in his digital footprint on Twitter, because that's where he followed me. I had evaluated his conversation a couple times, and then when I did reach out, I reached out on the channel that he connected to me on, which was in Twitter. I DM'd him and said, hey, I'd love to connect to learn more about you and your team. He DM'd me back his cell number in 30 minutes. That turned into an appointment, turned into a series of conversations, and now we have a deep relationship with IBM where they're promoting us as a social selling solution within the organization. That would have never happened if Nimble did not surface that opportunity to me. Martin and Greg and the audience out there, how many opportunities are you missing today as the fish swim not your social river? Too many.
Yeah, no, thank you, John. That was such a good, concrete example of how it's occurring. And I've literally put someone in Nimble, and they like see it populate before their eyes and go, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know that much stuff was out there." I go, "You put it out there," right before their eyes. I want to add another comment that comes up because in my the social media management certificate program I'm involved. I teach, co-teach, and develop. We have a lot of multi-generational people in it, and I'm seeing a number of really sharp young people with 4-year degrees and pretty big debts not able to get jobs. And I'm really realizing that one piece that they weren't given is the importance of building that network themselves. That almost they need to view the education as the icing on the cake, and their work experience and network is as or greater importance. I like your comment on it because I've really taken on a passion for helping these people because, I didn't have that level of debt and that few opportunities as I see today. And I think this is related in the conversation.
Well, I think it's all of our responsibilities, Martin and Greg, to give back in any way that you can. And I feel blessed in my life with the success that I've achieved. And I try to give back as much as possible, and certainly to young people. And so Nimble brings in interns from universities like UCLA and USC and others, where we help these people get the experience they need, because learning from books, you can only learn so much. And so my son right now is interviewing and looking at universities to attend. And so I've actually been fortunate enough to meet with the deans of these universities and of the business departments that he's applying to, and I'm shocked that they don't have a program in the freshman year that teaches the student how to begin building their brand and their network. It's actually something that is at the end of their graduation. There's a sheet on how to build a LinkedIn profile. And I'm thinking to myself, a LinkedIn profile is not enough of a background to allow you to build that complete network, but you should start not even in university. Start in high school, interning at companies, building your profiles out there. I actually reserve the social identities for my children when they were born. So their Gmail accounts, their Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, I reserve their actual names in these places. They didn't have public profiles until they were older, but ultimately, I truly believe that there is no time like the present to start building your profile and begin sharing content that you're inspired about in and around the areas of your passions, in order to start beginning to build relationships with people that you can learn from and that you can teach and achieve your dreams, whether you are 15 or 55.
The last statement on that, and I want to get back to the selling, is I realize that my generation, I'm 55, of parents and people that worked with them, taught their kids to be careful on the social web, but they didn't teach them how to actually get their own brand out there and build that online network. And I think that's why I wanted to bring it up and hear your views on it, because I'm seeing the fallout of them having the degree without the network, without the work experience, in a very tough competitive environment. And I think LinkedIn, Nimble, tools like that are an important piece of it.
Well, I actually want to talk about privacy and sharing. Good. And what you should share and where you should have identities and what really matters. I'll tell you guys, LinkedIn isn't enough. LinkedIn, for me, is a resume. It's like the boardroom. If you really want to get to know me, walk in my complete digital footprint, then you will learn enough about how to approach me around our areas of commonality, so that we can then develop the intimacy and trust necessary for us to open up about our respective business issues, for us then to find an opportunity to serve each other. So if you go to my Instagram, if you go to my Google+, if you go to all my different identities, you'll see much more than stuff about Nimble. Because people buy from people they like, and they like people who know them. Look at my walls, you guys. Look at the books I read, the school I went to, the knickknacks I collect. the records that I listen to, right? You know, this is how people connect. And so if you go and you look at my background, you might see pictures of my background where I brought my dog to work, right? And there was an article about that. Ultimately, in the old days, we used to go into somebody's office and get to know them. Today, we're doing it electronically. Give people a chance to truly get to know you, right? So open up your shirt, roll your sleeves up, and share a little bit about your heart and soul beyond the business stuff. And certainly, do not talk about your products and services more than 10% of the time, because nobody cares. People don't buy great products. They buy better versions of themselves. If you teach people to fish, they'll figure out you sell fishing poles. So stop selling and start serving. That's
right.
Right.
It's your story and you're sticking to it, right, Jon?
Amen.
Good. Greg?
Yeah, no, I think that's building relationships is absolutely critical. I've seen it, whether it's working in retail or doing inside sales, selling for a email marketing company. It all comes down to how much value can you provide to somebody. And I think that one of the things that some salespeople may have trouble with is just understanding how much value that or the kind of value that they need to deliver. Within every sales engagement. So, and I know you mentioned a little bit about, social listening, and then or in signals in particular. And I was just actually going back through through my Nimble app, because I'm a user and a paying user of Nimble, and looking at signals, and like I know I have to follow up with a few folks in here, obviously, but I think that, but trying to evaluate every one of those signals and understanding how much value that you need to deliver in that. What kind of ways do you use, or what kind of system do you have in place for kind of evaluating how to re-engage and what kind of value to deliver?
Well, the thing is that I truly believe that if you go and look at a contact record in Nimble, you'll see that we record not just the email and the calendar, but also the social interactions, the private and public messages, and the +1s and the comments and the interactions. I'm sure that both of you have relationships that you had a year ago where you met somebody that you might be able to provide value to, or they you, or both, ideally, that you initiated a relationship, you started a conversation, there was a good amount of engagement, and that person floated away, just like a leaf on a river. And imagine if you had systematically stayed engaged with them by periodically connecting, and just being there, adding a little bit of voice to the conversation, asking if there's an opportunity for you to add value to them. And that's the thing that's hard to do at scale. And so that's what we're doing at Nimble, is helping you to identify which of the people are slipping away and make it easy for you to walk in their digital footprint, add some value to that conversation, so that when they do make a buying decision or their friends make a buying decision, they recommend you.
Yeah, that's great advice.
And it doesn't take long to actually take a look at the signals and filter down the your engagements, and it looks like you have in here some of the signals to take a look at would be like birthdays and job changes, and making if you had new connections or retweets and mentions and things like that. Are there any additional ones that you think that maybe that you've seen that other people are using that people could take a look at?
Well, I think that one of the mistakes that many people make is they think that a connection is a relationship. Mm-hmm. And so if you follow somebody or get them to follow you, or you reach out and make a LinkedIn connection, it's not a scalp that you put on a belt and you hang it around your horse. It's really human people. And so the biggest mistake people make is they send a LinkedIn connection and the person accepts, and they don't have a process to actually follow up and follow through. Because ultimately, I think that people forget that business is business and social is just a part of the business process, and that ultimately you're there to do your business goals, which in many cases is identifying people that matter, reaching out and building enough of relationships you understand about their business needs as a professional, then you can either solve them or recommend somebody who can. I believe we're here to help people make better decisions faster, but you got to remember there's a business process behind it, and you've got to push your business goals forward. And so Nimble helps you to do that by setting up a system for contacts and companies that result in a measurable, mutually beneficial business outcome. So I think that we all talk about social, and it's great to build relationships, but relationships have to end in a result. And so I think that it all has to come back to business goals and business results that are measurable, that get generated by the engagement that we're all doing. And so I think it's important to understand that this is a platform for a purpose, and that's one of the reasons why we're taking Nimble into becoming a smarketing system. Now you're going to ask me, what's a smarketing system?
I get too many more questions to get, John. We'll have to get that on our next interview. You know, one of the things I really enjoyed is when we first met privately, you wanted to know what we were up to, you know, what game we were up to. And I want to bring up the thing is, to me, John, if I am sharing without a commitment or purpose to my life that's bigger, then pretty much my sharing will be the collection of human complaints that I do my best not to pay attention to in my head. So I want to talk about that, because we've got authenticity being sold, and we've got, you know, share a little more about yourself, and we're in a workplace across people that have all different degrees of support growing up that occurred. And I think an important ingredients in my life looking back was really getting the idea of coming from commitment, not just my whimsical feelings. And I'm, you know, some people weren't blessed with the good parenting I had to support that. So when you say share, I'm going to add share, but be clear what you're up to in your commitment as a filter, not just share from your collection of complaints. And I know there's a great quote from Shakespeare. I can't remember on this. So I want to mention that because I don't know that I recommend just authentically sharing like a spraying phenomenon of whatever comes to your gut, you know?
No, I truly believe that you have to have a purpose. That passion, plan, purpose is the ingredients of success in life. And that if you don't have a passion, and you don't make it your purpose, and you don't have a plan to succeed, you will have no results in your life. And so it's not spray and pray. What it is I think that you need to share things that you're passionate about in and around the areas of promise of your products and services. So rather than telling people how great your products and services are, you're teaching people how they could be great. Then they see you as a trusted advisor who is an expert in the field, and when they make a buying decision, they want to buy from the expert. Because ultimately, I don't think there's anybody in the world that doesn't understand that one of the reasons why I, on a regular basis, get out there and teach and inspire is because I want people to grow, and ultimately, I would love to have a big percentage of those people growing using Nimble as a tool to do that. And so, yes, I am clear about my business purpose. I want to help millions of business professionals achieve their dreams, ideally using Nimble. That's a clear business goal.
Yeah, yeah, and now now that I know that, I have a way to relate to you. You see, because you put it on the table. This is who Jon is.
Yeah.
And this is, to me, something that's often absent in the world. That takes a certain level of courage, I'm going to say. And I know.
I don't think so. I think that every business person has clear business goals.
Okay.
and I think that they should always be making those clear to people. I have a dear friend of mine who's the lead Sandler sales guy in Orange County. And this gentleman on a regular basis is contacting me to find ways that he could help introduce me to other people and help me achieve my business goals. Now, why is he doing that? He's doing that because the more success I have, the more salespeople I'm going to need to hire. And the more salespeople I need to hire, I'm going to need to hire him to help me to scale those people. So ultimately, I know what his business goals are. His business goals are help me to grow. But in the end, he grows too. Because Zig Ziglar said it best, the more people that you can help grow, the more you'll grow. And so I'm on this planet to, and I kind of go back to this thing, a year after I sold GoldMine, I got this tumor and I almost died. And I went on this spiritual sort of journey of just exploring, why are we on this planet? And I came to the conclusion that we're on this planet to grow our souls and help other people grow theirs. And we do that by being present with other human beings, by listening to their dreams and their passions and sharing yours with them. And through that conversation, through that vibration, magic occurs. And ultimately, that's all we leave this planet, is the moments that we're truly present with other human beings, connecting, sharing, and helping each other grow.
Yeah, it's like we're gonna leave a thumbprint on the planet, and it's either gonna be goo to clean up or a nice little glowing pattern that will be remembered by the
I don't think we're gonna be lucky enough to leave a thumbprint. I think it's gonna be ripples on the water, like a pebble dropping in a pond, and those ripples are just gonna be gone. It's like a moment in time.
So what's next for Nimble and the business? What can you share? We don't want any trade secrets here, but where's it going next? Because I'm excited. You know, I've drank the Kool-Aid. I love your app. I love the program. I finally have something that's serving my life instead of, oh my gosh, I'm not smart enough to fully understand this sales system that I can't figure out where things are. And you got an affordable product I can recommend to just about everybody.
So first, I just want to thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to come and connect with you and share my passions about the power of relationships and to further build and nurture our connection. I really believe that insights without action becomes more noise. So if you think about your inbox today, it's like digging a hole in the sand. You can't even find messages anymore. My signals are beginning to look like that. My plus ones, my likes, my comments, my retweets, my otherwise engagement. So if you do what we tell you to do, is share content to inspire and educate others in order to build your brand and your network, you're going to have more connections and conversations than you can deal with. What do you do then? So many people know that I invented contact management, SFA, and CRM. Most people don't know that I invented email marketing. So 25 years ago, I trademarked automated processes, which was actions based on triggers, which was if, this, and that for people and companies. So if you put a name in the GoldMine database, if it looks like this, do that. If you do this or don't do that with that person, do this. And so if you could say day 1, do this, day 7, do that, and you would automatically be able to email them, fax them, schedule tasks for reps, etc. You need workflow and automation to connect at scale. And so very soon you'll see an intelligent version of Nimble that you can automatically segment people based off who they are and how they're interacting with you, your team, and your brand, and begin to nurture them through connections and messages and interactions, lead score them, and then surface them for a human being to connect and present them with an opportunity to grow. And so people say that sales and marketing are beginning to come together. Well, GoldMine did that 25 years ago, but I believe the future marketing system will be a simple social sales and marketing platform that will help you to maintain and nurture your customer relationships throughout the entire cycle. And that platform can either be your CRM and marketing system, or feed your CRM and marketing system, because the data in Nimble about who that person is could actually populate your marketing and CRM systems if they already exist, or we could just be that for you. So that is a glimpse into the Nimble future that's coming your way soon.
Now that sounds very, very exciting, because I've actually worked for a few companies where they do not want sales playing around in the marketing automation system. So I think that sounds really exciting. And having spoken to a number of companies that see a need for more sales and marketing alignment, I think what you just said sounds extremely promising, and I hope that folks pay attention.
Well, I really believe that every single person on the planet today who is in business in any ways needs a marketing platform, a simple social sales and marketing system. Because today, your landing pages are your identities across all the places they are: Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Instagram, Foursquare, Google+, AngelList, Crunchbase, and your WordPress site. So these are your landing pages. You're sharing content, contacts are going there. What are you doing with them? What do you do with those people? Every single person should be mapped, layered with intelligence, segmented into the proper place, and then nurtured in the most effective, authentic, relevant way, so that if you do have an opportunity as a human to engage with that person, it's easy to do anywhere as you are. And that is where we're going with the platform. And I'm excited because, people underestimate what you can do. People overestimate what you can do in a few years, and they underestimate what you can do in 10. And I believe that we're on our way to serving millions of business professionals around the world, helping them achieve their dreams by focusing on their passion, developing a plan, and making it their purpose on a daily basis.
Awesome. Well, that's outstanding. I'm real excited. I also want to acknowledge you for your team is amazingly responsive to really. I can hear they're listening to the feedback, because I've been both a consumer, a critic, and a fan. All the above as I moved into working with it. And your team has been amazingly gracious in really knowing if we don't stay connected to the customer in the development of this, we won't have the competitive advantage, is my view. And you've done a great job on that.
I appreciate that, Martin. I believe the company has to have a personality, and it has to shine through all the places that they engage, and a culture. And I'm proud of the team, the culture, and the engagement that they do with the customer. I believe that you need to empower your customer-facing business team members to make decisions in favor of the customer at whatever point they can. That's why your experience at the Apple Store is always amazing. That's why when you go to the Ritz-Carlton, it's amazing. That's why when you go to Nordstrom's, it's amazing. And so I really believe that your brand is built on the promises you make and the experiences that you deliver, and you can only deliver those effectively by building a great team, a great culture, and empowering them to deliver delightment.
I think that's a great note to wrap it up. Greg, I'll let you have the last word, but it's so exciting. I do hope to keep moving forward and collaborating with you all, and I'm excited that you've let my own input be part of it so far. I look forward to contributing in the future.
Thank you, Martin.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Jon, for joining us today. I'm sure we're going to talk again quite a bit in the future, and we wish you the best of luck with everything you have going on at Nimble. You have a fantastic product. I do recommend frequently that sales folks and marketing folks and those that I get a chance to talk to, that they check it out, at least look at. I think you still have the a free version that's still available for them to try out, or you also have a trial. So strongly recommend that people go out to nimble.com and check that out and see if it's something that can actually help their business, because it's helped us. Both Martin and I use it. So.
Well, Greg and Martin, I want to recognize you guys for what you're doing on a daily basis. Is putting your practice into motion by teaching other people how they can grow. So this whole program that you've created, that you bring in thought leaders and you build community by sharing expertise and helping them grow, I really admire that, because you're teaching thousands, if not millions, of business professionals to do what they need to do to be successful in today's world. And I know that you guys don't get paid for this.
That's right. We don't.
No, we love it,
I
Greg.
want to thank you for your dedication to help others grow, because in the end, I really believe that you will grow because of this. And so, you know, great community you guys are building, great program. Thank you so much for letting me be a part of it. I encourage anybody listening to connect with me on all my different social identities. If you sign up for Nimble and put my name in there, Nimble will map out all my background and connect with you on every channel you feel comfortable with. I'm on Twitter at Jon, Jon_Ferrara, Ferrara. And I encourage you all to let me know how we can help you grow more effectively, and to follow our brands, because we teach on a daily basis. We teach you to fish.
It's excellent. It's excellent. We'll put the links in the video as well, John, so we'll make sure we get it out there. Great. Well, you stay dry and warm there. And
yeah, you know, it's turned out to be a beautiful day today. It's I'm blessed to live in a place where the average temperature, I think, is around 70 degrees. Thank God we've had some rain recently, so that's always good. But you know, it's I really feel blessed in my life for my family, for my health, and for the friends and people around me that support me in my endeavors to go build cool shit and bring it to the world. So thank you guys again.
Well said. Great. Good to see you.
Well, thank you very much, everybody, for watching Linking into Sales Social Selling Podcast. My name is Greg Heyer.
And Martin Brossman.
And Jon Ferrara.
Right. And we plan to all be together again soon.
All right. Everyone, have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks.